Hey, folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 5th of November, 2014. Well, the elections happened, and guess what? No more Harry Reid. Yay! Anyway, I just think that there's a lot more coming up. There's a lot more that's going to happen. And in terms of... Actually, I see two things, and the two things that I see are more talk, yappa, yappa, yappa. Nothing's ever going to get done. That's one thing. The other thing I see is President Obama pacing back and forth in the Oval Office wondering what to do now, because right now is a crucial point for the GOP, meaning they can either continue on and let him finish out his term with not much fanfare, or file articles of impeachment and get him out of office now. But then again, we'll have Biden, who, pretty much shoots himself in the foot every time he goes out on a speaking gig, So, coffee, love it. Anyway, what do we do, though? I mean, here we are. We're now less than 24 hours after the elections, the midterm elections. What do? We prepare for 2016. Now, somebody asked me why I voted. And you'll see it up on my Facebook page. Why did I vote? Well, it's pretty simple. Let me try to explain it to you in meat and potatoes type of way. I'll share this on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page for all you to take a look at. And it is interesting because why do I say that votes don't count? Well, let me put it to you this way. And this is what I've said in my little post up on my Facebook page. I said, we the people, from this moment, remember, we have both parties struggling to put their foot on the accelerator and move this country forward. The thing is, how fast will they want to go, and how soon before we see martial law? And this is my explanation as to why I voted. If you have ever worked on a house, you would shore up the beams so that the frames you just put up won't fall, right? Well, that's why I voted. Does it mean anything? You tell me after what happened last night. The good thing is, no more Harry Reid. Yay. So basically, I voted because I wanted to shore up the walls that were falling down. I wanted to be a part of that, and many other people have done that because I've looked at some of the stats last night with nonpartisan libertarian people. And guess what? They're the ones, shoring up the walls so that it doesn't collapse on us. There's Republican progressives on the outside pushing the wall in. There are Republicans who are true to the Constitution and their vows, and their pledges that are pushing the walls to keep the walls up. Okay, so there's that struggle going on, So basically, people vote for many different reasons. And I've already made, it known that I'm nonpartisan. So, either the person's name ended with an IAP or an IP or an NP, I vote for him, because I don't want Democrat and Republican. I'm with Jesse Ventura on this one. We need to get rid of all the parties anyway. We just don't need to vote them into office. We need to get, mom and pops. We need to get, teachers. We need to get, nurses and doctors and, no lawyers. I think if I was ever, running for an office, I would tell people, no lawyers, thank you. No lawyers, go away. We don't need them. Truck drivers, cab drivers. We need those people. Bakery owners. We need those people. I don't. So we need the meat and potatoes, the entrepreneurs in office, not these lawyers that want to create laws that exempt them from the law. You know what I mean? So anyway, hey, break time, folks, and I shall return after this. Questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, Free America Radio at USA.com, Free America Radio at USA.com. I shall return right after this. The storm is on the horizon. The system of government that we currently have in this country is collapsing. We are on the brink of total disaster as a nation, a people, and a planet. Who or what can save us? Listen to The Views Expressed live, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, at freeamericaradio.us. This is Wayne S. Pierce from the Free America Radio Network, and we are looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor any of the shows on the Free America Radio Network, email us at freeamericaradio@usa.com. Our website is freeamericaradio.us. Hey, folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 5th of November, 2014. How'd you do last night? Did the person you voted for or the situation or whatever it was, did you get your way? A lot of people seem to think that they didn't get their way last night. Let me tell you something. It's a dog and pony show. But we vote. As I said in the opening of the show, I voted because I wanted to shore up. I wanted to help shore up the walls, so they wouldn't collapse. And I wasn't the only one, okay? I saw statistics last night after, I think it was after all of it, and people conceded to the opponent or whatever it was, and I noticed this year, or this midterm elections, as in comparison to 2012, there were a lot more libertarian, nonpartisan, people voting. It was around 2, 3, 4%. I mean, but still, comparatively to the candidates that were out there. But I saw a lot less in 2012. I saw a considerably less than that in 2010. So it's starting to really move that the nonpartisan libertarian people, the people that don't vote for, the parties, they don't vote for Democrat or Republican, they literally are in the middle, and they're saying, we don't like this two-party system, so we're going to get rid of it. And they're moving in that direction. Now, about 6 months ago, I saw a statistic where it said that most people, because of the situations that have happened in the last 6 years, more people are leaving the establishment parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, and moving to more libertarian. Now, hold on. Hang on to your shorts and don't celebrate too soon. We have rhinos, we have dinos, and we have linos. What? Yes. We have Republicans in name only. We have Democrats in name only, and we have libertarians in name only. Meaning libertarian. Okay? They're saying they're libertarian, but they really aren't. But we also have, from what I've seen, and I could be wrong in this, conscripted conservatism. In other words, people are, quote-unquote, drafted into the conservative movement. Why? Okay? And I also see conscripted liberalism, or the liberalism, the liberals that are out there that want to control everything. I see that people are being recruited there. Now, hold on. Who are these people? Are these the ones that are disenfranchised, or these are the ones that are, unhappy with the situations that are going on? Are these people the ones that walk the streets, that put the door hangers on your door? And I mean, who are these people? Are these people the people that work for minimum wage? Oh, I'll get into that in a little bit later. But who are these people? Who are these people that the conservatives and the liberals want to recruit into their side of the political chess game? These people are the people that are not even citizens of the United States of America. These people are here on either work visas or education visas or whatever. These people don't belong here. Okay? And when I say don't belong here, yeah, they may have left, Indonesia. They may have left Guatemala. They may have left Mexico. And come over here for a better life. But is it really all that better? I don't think so. When you compare what is happening and what has happened in the last 6 years to other countries, do you think that we're better? No, folks. The conscripted liberals and the conscripted conservatives were drafted to do one thing, and one thing only. And that is establish a one-size-fits-all solution to America. Okay? Now, you might think I'm wrong. I know I'm not. Because you look at the information that is out there. You look at the situations that are out there. You look at the people coming forward and listen to their stories. Okay? And it's the same bullcrap that we hear and have heard for the last 30, 40, 50 years. We're doing this because I want something better for my children. I want something better for the community. I want something. You know what that is? Here, go back 70 to 80 years. You'll hear the same thing in Nazi Germany. You'll hear the same thing in occupied Poland. You'll hear the same thing in Czechoslovakia. You'll hear the same thing in Russia. You know, I've seen reports that I've read articles and such and reports where people that come here, people that have an interest to be free, to have freedom, and to live, and all of that, come here for, because they see America as being the shining light on the hill. Well, the light's out, folks. The light burned out. You understand that? But we still have a system that is at the brink of its complete failure, and we're still able and free to vote, so we do. But we have the narcissistic, selfish, self-aggrandizement, or the aggrandizing sort that will do everything they can to push that wall over onto the inside of the house, going in and taking everybody out and saying, you're going to have to be this way now. I was talking about shoring up I'm not the only one, folks. I'm not the only one inside that house being bombarded by the liberal progressives and the conservative progressives trying to tear down that house. I'm not the only one inside there trying to hold that wall up. Because we know. We know what is going on. We know how it's going to affect us and our liberties and freedoms. We know. We know. There's no question at all, and should be no doubt at all, that we have liberal and conservative progressives. Go look it up. You know who the primary person to look to when you look at both parties and the progressive movement throughout the past century? President Woodrow Wilson. And the Republican progressive Theodore Roosevelt. Okay? I could be wrong in that. But I don't think I am. Now, what happened last night? What happened last night was a clear-cut case of having people finally say, President Obama, you are a freaking idiot. Okay? I mean, seriously. Here it is right here. Theodore T.R. Roosevelt Jr., born October 27th, 1858, passed away in January 6, 1919. Was an American politician, author, naturalist, soldier, explorer, and historian who served as the 26th President of the United States. He was the leader of the Republican Party, the GOP, and the founder of the Progressive Party insurgency in 1912. He is also known for his exuberant personality, range of interests and achievements, and his leadership of the progressive movement, as well as his cowboy persona and robust masculinity. Born into a wealthy family in New York City, Roosevelt was a sickly child who suffered from asthma. To overcome his physical weakness, he embraced a strenuous life. He was homeschooled and began an eager student of nature. He attended Harvard College, where he studied biology, boxed, and developed an interest in naval affairs. He quickly entered politics, determined to become the member of the ruling class. In 1881, he was elected to the New York State Assembly, where he became the leader of the reform faction of the GOP. His book, The Naval War of 1812, which was published in 1882, established him as a learned historian and writer. The founder of the Progressive Party insurgency of 1912. President Woodrow Wilson was president wow, if I can spell. And Woodrow Wilson was president of the United States from, well, let me look here. I got to look. From March 1913 to March of 1921. Woodrow Wilson was the 28th president of the United States from 1913 to 1921, and get this, the leader of the progressive movement. He served as president of Princeton University from 1902 to 1910 and was governor of New Jersey from 1911 to 1913. He led his Democratic Party to a win of both the White House and Congress in 1912. Wilson induced a conservative Democrat Congress to pass a progressive legislative agenda unparalleled until the New Deal in 1913. This included the Federal Reserve Act, Federal Trade Commission Act, the Clayton Antitrust Act, and the Federal Farm Loan Act, and an income tax. Child labor was temporarily curtailed by the Keating-Owen Act of 1916. Wilson also averted a railroad strike and an ensuing economic crisis through passage of the Adamson Act, imposing an 8-hour workday for railroads. At the outbreak of World War I in 1914, Wilson maintained a policy of neutrality. In other words, narrowly re-elected in 1916 around the slogan, "He kept us out of war," Wilson's second term was dominated by an American entry into World War I. That year, he proclaimed June 14th as Flag Day in a patriotic speech that bore out the nation's anti-German sentiment. In April of 1917, when Germany persisted with submarine warfare, Wilson asked Congress to declare war in order to make the world safe for democracy. That's quotes, the world safe for democracy. The United States conducted military operations with allies without a formal alliance. During the war, Wilson focused on diplomacy and financial considerations, leaving military particulars in the hands of the Army. Unlike people who went to Vietnam, he loaned billions of dollars to Britain, France, and other allies, allowing them to finance their own war effort. On the home front, in 1917, he began the first large-scale draft and borrowed billions of dollars in war funding through the newly established Federal Reserve Bank and Liberty Bonds. He set up the War Industries Board, promoted Labor Union Corporation, supervised agriculture and food production through the Lever Act, and assumed control of the railroads, nationalizing the railroads. That's what that means. And by the way, the Federal Reserve Bank, he also suppressed anti-war movements with an Espionage Act of 1917 and the Sedition Act of 1918, a crackdown which broadened and intensified to include real and suspected anarchists and communists during the Red Scare of 1919 to 1920. In 1918, after years of opposition, Wilson was pressured to change his position on women's suffrage, which he then advocated as a war measure. Though he sought and received support from many in the black community, he permitted racial segregation of the post office, the U.S. Treasury Department, and the Navy. Wilson took personal control of negotiations when an armistice was requested by Germany, because we were kicking their butt. And in 1918, he issued his Principles of Peace, the 14 points. In 1919, he went to Paris to promote the formation of the League of Nations and concluded the Treaty of Versailles. Wilson then suffered a severe stroke and was unable to secure Senate ratification of the treaty. By 1920, his disability had diminished his power and influence, and the Democratic Party ignored his tentative plan to run for re-election. A devoted Presbyterian, Wilson infused a profound sense of moralism into his internationalism, now referred to as Wilsonian, a contentious position in American foreign policy, which obligates the United States to promote global democracy. For his sponsorship of the League of Nations, Wilson was awarded the 1919 Nobel Peace Prize. Wilson has consistently been ranked by scholars and the public as one of the top 10 presidents. Sure, he was a progressive. Hello. People are saying, well, what's so wrong with that? Well, what's so wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with being progressive. Excuse me? Can you say communism? What is the antithesis of progressivism? What is the let me put it here. What is the opposite of progressivism. Okay? OppositeDictionary.com. Right wing. Okay? Doesn't say much, right? But anyway, yeah. Here's the thing, folks. One size does not fit all. Okay? One size does not fit all. So when you have a full Congress, Senate, and House of Republicans or Democrats, one or the other, you're going to have problems. Period. It's been seen in history over and over and over again. You do not allow, and these our founding fathers knew this, you do not allow one person to run the whole thing. This is why there are checks and balances through the legislative, judicial, and executive branches. Unfortunately, the president is in the executive branch and therefore can run the other two, but they have their hands tied with the progressives on both sides of the aisle in the House and the Senate. They're going to stall this bill. They're going to stall this proposal because they want one size fits all. That's the progressives of Democrat and Republican on the outside of the House pushing the wall in. We, on the other hand, we the people of every race, creed, and religion and political ideology will, and standing on the Constitution as the rule of law, as our founding fathers wanted it, are pushing back against that wall. So therefore, who's going to win? I know who's going to win. It's going to be the American people, because we saw it last night. And when you go back and you look at the Republicans that were in office after President Reagan, even prior to him, if you go back farther, you look at the Republicans in Congress, not so much the president, but in Congress, who were fighting against, pushing against, shoring up the wall against the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is nothing more than a fascist, socialist, Marxist, communist party that wants one size fits all. Period. End of sentence. I don't care who the hell you are. This is the way it is. It means that if we allow the Democrats to take control of the House and the Senate again, we're screwed. This is why what happened last night had to happen. But let's go over to the other side of the aisle, shall we? The Republicans are no better, because the Republicans are also part of a progressive party, or some of them are, not all of them. But the Republicans don't have the balls or the backbone to stand up and say, wait a minute, the ones that are good on the Constitution, standing there, shoring up the wall from the inside, they don't have the strength without the rest of the people coming behind them. Okay? Now, I've just put a blanket statement out there about the Democratic Party. Prove me wrong. I just told you what it was via Wikipedia on both Theodore Roosevelt and President Woodrow Wilson. Prove me wrong. You can't. It's right there in your face, and after last night, I don't see how you can't see it. Okay? So anyway, hey, this is bottom of the hour break. I'm going to take a little break. Not going to go away for too long. Just going to go get me some more coffee while you hear the promos. So, got any questions, concerns, comments? Even if you disagree with me, show me why. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Check out the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com site. Come join me today at 3 p.m. Pacific on the Views Express Live at freeamericaradio.us. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com.
Welcome to the digital maze. You have entered into an infinite space of virtual reality. Do not let yourself be consumed by it. Seek the doors that will lead you back to your true reality. Do not trust your senses. This is only a simulation of experiences meant to disrupt your current cycle of digital media consumption.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. A new world order, a new world order, a new world order, not the law of the jungle, a new world order, not the law of the jungle.
This is only a simulation.
A new world order, not the law of the jungle. We have a real chance at this new world order.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am wondering, why are you here? Two, or do not. There is no try. Two, there is no try. Two, or do not. There is no try. I am wondering, why are you here?
The progressives have had enough of this country. They need to go away. Yes, folks, both sides of the aisle have progressive people. Now, let me give you a comparison and a contrast, and actually the definition for progressive. Let's go to dictionary.com. Let's check that out. Okay. Progressive. You can tell I'm typing. A favoring or advocating progress, change, improvement, or reform, as opposed to wishing to maintain things as they are, especially in political matters. Making progress toward better conditions, employing or advocating more enlightened or liberal ideas, new or experimental methods, etc. Characterized by such progress or by continuous improvement. Initial capital letter or of or pertaining to any of the progressive parties in politics. Going forward or onward, passing successfully from one member of a series to the next, proceeding step by step, noting or pertaining to a form of taxation in which the rate increases with certain increases in taxable income of or pertaining to progressive education. Examples. So, let me ask you this, folks. Let me ask you this. It's real simple, folks. Real freaking simple. How far do you want to go? Do you want this country to continue the downward spiral that it's in, or do you want to put the brakes on it now? Because I suggest that you think about where you're headed. All right? Progressive Party, United States, 1912. Bull Moose. There's this other thing there as well. The Progressive Party of 1912 was an American political party. It was formed by former President Theodore Roosevelt after a split in the Republican Party between him and President William Howard Taft. The party also became known as the Bull Moose Party after journalists quoted Roosevelt saying, quote, "I'm feeling like a bull moose," unquote, shortly after the new party was formed. Roosevelt left office in 1909 and had selected Taft, his Secretary of War, to succeed him as presidential candidate, and Taft easily won in 1908 presidential election. Roosevelt became disappointed by Taft's increasingly conservative policies. Taft upset Roosevelt when he used the Sherman Antitrust Act to break up U.S. Steel. During his own presidency, Roosevelt had approved J.P. Morgan-owned U.S. Steel as a good trust. They became openly hostile, and Roosevelt decided to seek the presidency. Roosevelt entered the campaign late, as Taft was already being challenged by populist Senator Robert La Follette of Wisconsin. Roosevelt far outpolled Taft in the primary elections, but as a sitting president, Taft controlled his Republican Party's organizational operations and mechanism for choosing its presidential nominee in 1912 Republican National Convention. So, despite Roosevelt's open attempt to block Taft's renomination, the party renominated Taft in June. Before the final vote, Roosevelt had said that he would accept a presidential nomination from a new, quote-unquote, honestly elected convention. He ordered pro-Roosevelt Republican convention delegates to abstain from voting in rebuke to Taft's steamroller tactics. The next day, Roosevelt supporters met to form a new political party of their own. California Governor Hiram Johnson became its chairman, and a new convention was scheduled for August. Publisher Frank A. Muncie, the largest stockholder of U.S. Steel at the time, provided much of the funding for the new organization. George W. Perkins, a director of U.S. Steel and chairman of the International Harvester Company, one of the trusts Taft had attacked, became its executive secretary. Roosevelt's ambitions to reclaim the presidency suffered two setbacks in the interim. First, not many Republicans joined his new party. Only 5 of the 15 quote-unquote progressive Republican senators declared support for it. Republican representatives, governors, committeemen, and the publishers and editors of Republican-leaning newspapers showed comparable reluctance. Many of Roosevelt's closest political allies supported Taft, including his son-in-law, Nicholas Longworth, though Roosevelt's daughter Alice stuck with her father, causing a permanent chill in her marriage. For men like Longworth, expecting a future of his own in the Republican politics, bolting the party would have seemed tantamount to career suicide. However, many independent reformers still signed up. I don't know, folks, why people would continue to support any of the parties. I really don't. Looking at the field of potential candidates and candidates for the 2016 presidential election, I would have to say there's not much of a choice that we have. You know, if we have people standing up, standing firm, standing on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, I think we would have a chance at gaining a huge victory over the socialist, fascist, Marxist, communist politicians that are in Washington, D.C. right now. But do we have that many people? Considering that less than half of the population of the United States, voted yesterday, I'm beginning to believe what I've said before. This country has to collapse. This country has to fold in upon itself, implode for us, we the people, to rebuild it. It's going to take years, folks. It hadn't, 1776 was one thing, the Declaration of Independence. 1871 was when this whole country went to hell in a handbasket. So you think about that one, folks. You think about that one, all right? Because when you think about the aspect of what this country was 238 years ago to now, guess what? We're back to the 3%. We're back to the 3% of the people that are tired, sick and tired, damn well tired, pissed off at the current establishment. Okay? 238 years later, we're back to square one. What the hell is wrong with you people? Now, I know, of course, people are going to spin that and say, well, we have this and we had that. Blah, blah, blah. Nah. Folks, out of the 238 years we have been a country, we have been the United States of America, 210 years of that time has been in war. Why? Because the profiteers know how to make a buck. 1871 incorporated Washington, D.C. in that little 10 square mile area of land, and we have been screwed ever since. Okay? It is important to understand that not only in the Civil War of 1865 were we fighting, but there were wars going on in the Southwest, down near Texas. There were wars going on all over the place. Okay? So, this country has seen its battle scars. And guess what? We have come through it on the other side. A little bruised and battered. But guess what? We still stood strong. And we have the scars to prove that we, the people, can stand up against anything and say, piss the F off. You people have absolutely no clue what you're doing. Back off. We'll take care of this. And I'm talking specifically to all the politicians out there. When I say politicians, I'm talking those that are, those career politicians, all those people. And I'm telling them to back off because we, the people, know what we're doing. And we're going to take care of this situation one way or the other. And if we have to throw your asses in jail, we're going to do that. Because you've taken this country, the land your fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers worked the land on. You've taken this country and thrown it into the toilet. So enough of your progressive ideas. Okay? Enough. Morals and ethics, what are those compared? To you don't even know what that is. We want the morals, we want the ethics. We want what is right. We'll stand on what we believe. We'll follow our conscience. And we'll kick your ass. You don't like it? I don't care. That's just the way it is. We have to defend this country from the very heart. From the very heart, we have to defend this country because we know that this country is the freest country in the world. And that's why everybody came over here and looking to us for peace, freedom, security, and liberty. And we're the shining example of other countries trying to fight for the same thing. Guess what? We're not that anymore. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, just threw his gloves off and said, enough's enough. If we had a president in there right now that had the backbone and the balls to call up President Putin and say, listen, yeah, we loaned you a whole bunch of money, dude. How about paying it back? Call up Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and saying, and all the Middle East and tell them, look, we'll kick your ass. We're getting out of OPEC. Shut your damn mouth. We're going to do what we need to do to survive. You do what you need to do to survive. We're no longer going to deal with you. And we need a president that's going to look at Israel and go, Prime Minister Netanyahu, yeah, too bad you don't know the history of your own country. The Rothschilds set it up for their own strategic profits. So the people that are there are not truly Israeli, okay? So we're not going to support you, okay? We understand that you've harbored terrorists. We understand that you've done this and done that and all that in the past. That's fine. You're trying to make amends. That's okay. We'll shake hands and go to dinner, but we're not going to support you anymore. We're done. Oh, somebody's probably going to yell at me and say, what, you don't support Israel? I support the citizens of Israel. I don't care who they are. I don't care what beliefs they have. I support the human beings in the city of Jerusalem. Okay? And the surrounding areas. All right? I don't care what background they have. They're human beings, for goodness sakes. It's the politicians that are overseeing that whole area that are the dumbest people on the face of the planet. Okay? That's my opinion. It's the people. It's the human beings. It's the mothers, the fathers, the teenagers, the kids. They're hurting because of those politicians that have absolutely no idea what they're doing. All they're trying to do is start wars. Or perpetuate wars, depending. I don't know. Again, my opinion, that's what talk radio is for. But when we look at the United States and we examine the very nature of this country, did you know that for over 150 to 200 years prior to 1776, we had people here fighting for freedom? Fighting to stay alive, trying to survive. Did you know that? Yeah, go look at the history. We had people over here in the 1500s, 1600s. But Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, he didn't. He discovered Puerto Rico. Amerigo Vespucci, I think is his name, discovered America. I don't want to... Just go back and look at your actual history. All right? Again, by the way, I could be wrong in that, so let me know. But what are we doing? We're sitting around waiting for someone else to take care of the problem. And what does that mean? What does that mean? You know what that means? That means that there are people that are too damn lazy to get up and too weak to have a backbone and too blind to be able to see what the hell's going on, to be able to make any decisions that are going to be, that are in the realm of even strengthening their own lives, let alone defend this country from the fascist, Marxist, communist, socialist pigs that are in Washington, D.C., on both sides of the aisle. Well, geez, you don't have too much faith in the American people, do you? No, I got a hell of a lot of faith in the American people. Because the vast majority of the American people know what's going on. They see it. They know it. It's there. It's right there. It's in their face. They know this. They understand this. But then there are some that are just sitting around going, oh, you people know what's going on? Okay, you take care of it. I'm going to go over here and have a beer and watch ESPN. Those people need their ass kicked. Get up out of that damn chair, put your beer down, let's go defend the country. Okay? But anyway, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, show me why. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I'd love to hear from you. Put in the subject line radio so I know you heard this. freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can also go to the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com site. And, check it out. I'm looking for sponsors. So if you like the show, if you want to sponsor this particular show, please tell me. Go to the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com site and click on sponsors page. And if you want, you can sponsor the show. If you've got any questions, again, ask me. Hey, more than happy to tell you what you need to know. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And just specify radio in the subject line and let me know. Just ask me anything you want. Yeah, no question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. I mean, it's that simple. It's, if you don't know something, you'll say you don't know, right? I'll be on the Views Expressed live today. Yes, it will be broadcasted live today at a special time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Yes, right there on Spreaker.com and also at freeamericaradio.us. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of things happening. And I cannot stress to you more than to get out and keep protesting. There's, hey, the Republicans won. Okay, we did our job. No. Don't stop protesting. Don't stop getting out there and doing what you need to do. Don't stop because, they're going to run you over. It's again, let me use that the House. Here we are on the inside, and we're pushing up the walls because the Republican and Democratic progressives want to push that wall in on us. No. We have to keep pushing back, and we cannot stop. We cannot stop. Okay? Even if you're one of those people that say, I don't vote. Okay, cool. Help me keep this wall up. Help us keep this wall up. Well, I don't know. They have some good ideas, too. No, they don't. They're out to kill you. Do you understand? Well, politically kill you. Or, in terms of the Georgia Guidestones, they want to kill you. Chemtrails, all that, GMOs. But even if you don't vote, even if you don't classify yourself as part of, one of the, political parties, even if you don't affiliate with them, come help us hold the wall up. Okay? I mean, that whole situation last night was, I'm watching some of the stuff, and I got to tell you, it made me literally cringe. Yes, even though Harry Reid's now out, he's no longer got any, power whatsoever to stop anything from happening or to perpetuate what, President Obama wants. It made me cringe to see that so many people were, so many people sold their souls to the progressive movement on both sides of the aisle. It makes me sad. And then on top of that, I'm watching some of the people applauding. I'm going, what? Do they actually know what the hell's going on? Hey, like I said, if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But man, I could see it last night watching some of these things. Holy mackerel. And you're going to see this whole week is going to be filled with the liberals on MSNBC saying, oh, we just, they're wrong, and they're going to be complaining, as they always do. Then you're going to see the right-wing conservative talk shows and the TV shows bash the liberals because, hey, they're going to gloat, basically, is what they're going to do. Hey, look at that, we won. It's going to be that, and it's going to suck for a couple of weeks. What's that? I just had a phrase come to mind, the sting of victory. Oh, yeah. Who won is the big question. Certainly wasn't the American people, was it? It certainly wasn't the people that are out there operating their mom and pop businesses on any street anywhere USA. It wasn't, your aunt who owns a bakery down the street that doesn't make hardly enough to, support the business, and her and your uncle or your cousins. Wasn't those people. It wasn't the people who pump your gas. I know some people still do that. It wasn't even the people that work in these fast food places. They didn't win any either. What, California and San Francisco has raised the minimum wage of $15 an hour? Dudes, have you figured it out yet? There's robots, there's kiosks that are now going in. And guess what? If that company is not making the money to pay you $15 an hour, your history. You better work your tail off, go to school or something, and get a better job and better yourself instead of sitting there in a dead-end job wanting to make $15 an hour. I'm going to say it right now, and I've said it a couple of months ago, and that was, if this $15 an hour goes through in California, California's done. California's history. California is no longer part of the United States. It is now a socialist city-state that, I shouldn't even say socialist, it's basically fascist. It's now a fascist state. It is now done. There is no longer anything in that state that is worth anything, including labor, because now it's done. Well, there's pockets of California that are okay. No, it's not. It's done. I said several months ago that, California's in the toilet waiting for somebody to push the handle. People, the handle's been pushed. It's going into, it's in the sewer now. It's floating around with the other turds, okay? I should know this because I was born and raised in California. I was born and raised in Stockton, California. So I know this firsthand. Over the last 40 years at least. Okay? And I can tell you, it's done. Businesses are leaving California. Why? Over-regulation, over-taxation, everything. It's all done. California's done. If Californians get Jerry Brown out of office today, tomorrow, by 2016, it's going to take anywhere between 10 to 15 years to rebuild California into the powerhouse it was many, many years ago. It's probably going to take longer. I don't know. I could be wrong. Come join me on the Views Express Live. If you want to support this show, please do. You can sponsor the Wayne S. Pierce Show by going to the Wayne S. Pierce Show website, the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com. Click on the sponsors page, check it out, and sponsor the show if you like. Also, check me out on the Views Express Live today at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com and also at freeamericaradio.us. Hey, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, please show me why. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Please come join me over at freeamericaradio.us for the Views Express Live later on today at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Special time. So, yes, go to freeamericaradio.us. americaradio.us. Have a great day, folks.